Take me to another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical, magical land. Magical, magical land. To another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical, magical land.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Jens Heitland Show, where I connect the dots of innovation and entrepreneurship. My name is Jens Heitland, and I am your host. In today's episode, I meet with a swimmer, a former Olympic sailor, an entrepreneur by heart, and an innovator. Please welcome to the show, Peter Eriksson.
But you're fine?
Yeah, no, super good.
Yeah.
Super good. Yeah,
that's good.
I really, it's super busy time right now because I'm really deep down into this training. But I'm getting so much out of that. It's like, I getting so many new insights, especially on digital stuff. It's like how you do all of that stuff online. How do you build the following? How do you work with all of that? So it's really cool. And I'm adding that all into my kind of canvas structure and things. It's great. It's really, really cool. So I'm just helping someone else applying exactly that already. It's like boom, straight away. It's quite cool, and it's not that complicated. It's fun to see that these small things are working.
But this is new to you. You haven't? Did you have a lot of experience on this before, the digital stuff, or?
No, I did, but it's not that specific. So it's like more. So digital stuff is one perspective, but how do you build that into the total system in an engine that's working? Because it's not. It's you can have the right message, you can have the right story, but if this story doesn't work in the same way in an online perspective or in a digital perspective, then it's not working. So how do you build up this mechanics behind it? That's basically the training. But it's super tough. They are really assholes in a positive way. So they really make it a challenge that you're almost not able to do it. So it's like I'm spending a lot of time. I'm running after it just to get the things in, because it's always practical stuff. So, but it's super hard, and I guess it's like 20% out of the total will manage it. And I guess they're designing it specifically in that way that your heart. It's like they just want to separate the basic people from the ones who are managing it, and then these ones will be superstars.
But how long have you done this? And
it's 30 days.
Yeah, is it that a total 30 days?
Yeah.
And you already are you done with it, or
this week?
Okay.
So now it's like, how do you drive traffic to your website? So it's basically the mechanics, all of that stuff is done. Your stories, like podcasting, all this kind of stuff. And then it's more, how do you use this to drive traffic to your website from people you don't know, who don't know you yet? It's like, how do you build that? It's like using your podcast in different ways, approaching other people in different ways, all that stuff. And I know, let's say 50% of it, if not more, but it's more, how do you apply this in this context, and how do you bundle that together with your total system? So it's always the system. It's not the single thing that works. So it's like, I'm just getting different colors of puzzle pieces to put into my total puzzle. And that's making it super cool, because I basically have 80% of it in my structure, but now I can take this zoom in, zoom out in a way better way, as well from a digital angle, physical angle, and systems perspective. That's the cool thing. So it's like refining, prototyping, all that stuff, and I do it straight away. And that's also what they're saying. It's like, do it on the daily basis. Like, I started the podcast 2 weeks ago, and you're now number 11.
11. That's a good number. What, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's just fast.
Great. Yeah, we are. You know, as you know, we are struggling a bit over here, as everywhere, I guess. But me and my colleague, we really believe that Hans-Erik, you really believe that we will be able to run our exhibitions this year.
Next year, you mean?
Next year, yeah. Not this year. Next year.
Yeah.
I'm already. You know, our business is long lead times, so I'm already into 22, 23, 24.
Yeah. That's good.
25.
But before we go deep into it, who are you? Tell us a bit about yourself. What is your story?
My story. Yes, my story. It started out with my first real big interest, where I found the most challenging pieces was competitive sailing. I started with that when I was around 10 years, 8, 9 years maybe. And was fun because my father always my father liked the water, and he always told me since I was little that he called me the sailor. He called me the sailor, but I never had a boat at that time. But as long as I remember, so the fun thing was that when I found out that my friend, he had 2 boats, and we were off from school, and he said, and I saw myself as a sailor, and because my father always told me that I was a sailor, so I told my friend, I know how to sail, and he had 2 boats, so I said, okay, that's good. When you know how to sail, you can borrow my boat. I have 2 of them. So that's what we did. And the funny thing was that I sailed. That was mentally interesting because I spent 1 day sailing myself in the boat. So that's some kind of I guess mental preparation that I knew. I did know how to sail, but never did it. So the week after, my dad bought my own boat. So that's the way. But I continued. I did a lot of sailing, and almost until I was 30 years old. So that was basically my biggest interest for a long time. I did other stuff, of course, but I did work. I did some studying, but the main thing or the main target was doing that. So I did 2 Olympic campaigns, and I missed the first one, but I did the Olympics in Korea, 1988. But I wasn't that of a great sailor, but I was in the Olympics. And after that, when I was 28, I to do the campaigns, I had to do a lot of stuff to finance that. I had a lot of. I need to find the money to do the campaigns, and so I had a lot of contacts within companies with projects, bringing in money to the campaigns and stuff. So, and when I decided that I can't continue with this, I need to get a proper job. And all my friends, they already, they educated themselves for a long time, and they were getting established. And I was the sailor, and I was really kind of that worried me a bit. So when I quit sailing, I had to, I was in a hurry. I felt I was in a real hurry to catch up.
And that was from a feeling perspective, or was it like really needed?
It was definitely from a feeling perspective, but because I also wanted to, do the fun stuff, do the fun jobs, and have that. But of course, it was also necessary, I guess, because I was way back in my economics. It was difficult, but when you have this really burning desire of doing something, you don't think straight. You decided to do something, and so money wasn't. It was a problem, but I didn't think about the consequences really, because you just decide to do something and you do it, and then you take care of all the shit afterwards, I guess. So there was
how is that as a young person? Let's say you have been 16. Did you think about Olympics already when you have been 16, or does it came later?
When I was
16 years old, sailing.
The fun thing is that my cousins they showed me a drawing that they found when I was about 30 years old after the Olympics. They found a drawing that I did when I was about 7. Spending some time in their house, and I drew a sailing boat saying that I was going to the Olympics.
So it was there somewhere in the back.
Somewhere it was, and it was something with this that my father pushed me a bit, but he said I was a sailor, and he kind of challenged me with stuff, most of the time. So it was quite natural.
Yeah. So you mentioned you did campaigns to get to the Olympics. Can you explain a little bit more for the people who don't know how that works? What you did and how you did it?
The campaigns. I mean, the Olympics are every 4th year. So you could say you have 4 years to prepare to get selected, and in each country it looks differently. But in Sweden you have certain criteria in each country how you go to the Olympics, but it's basically the same in all countries. You need to, in Sweden it's like you need to show. It's only one in sailing. It's only one person in each class that goes to the Olympics, and you need to show that you can take a medal, and if you can't take a medal, you need to be top 8 in the world. That's the criteria, and then you have these regattas, and certain regattas are like. That's international regattas, and it's qualifying regattas, and so you need to. It's not a fixed figures, but the committee, you have to show the committee that this guy he's top 8, and he, if he's lucky, he can take a medal.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
So it's if I understand you right, it's like you need to be good in the sport itself, but also you need to spend a lot of time getting to the different events, getting to the different races, and most probably as well find sponsorship, which helps you to do that.
Yeah. The thing is that today, when I do quite much swimming today, and I swim with some good people. Former Olympians and so on. And we all know, or from my own sport history, when I was sailing, we always discussed the swimmers, how much they trained, how fit they were, and stuff like that. But now talking to the swimmers, and discussing how their situation was at the same time doing their preparation for the Olympics. I mean, yeah, they did some training, but if I compare their effort to in their stuff, in compared to the average Olympic campaign sailor, the sailors are doing, I would say, 10 times more.
In which sense do sailors do more? Or have to do more?
It's, for the first, you have to do most of it yourself. You have to. I mean, you have to do. It's a complex sport. Also, it's. I mean, they have to need the physical stuff, the psychological stuff, the material. You need to know meteorologically. You have the. I mean, it's so complex.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that you need to handle to be complete. I'm not saying that sailors are better than swimmers, but there is a lot of time to put into this.
Yeah.
To all the puzzles, to get the complete puzzle, there is a lot of things you need to cover up. And then, I mean, and the most of the regattas, living in Sweden, it's in the wintertime, it's difficult to sail here. So it's a lot of traveling, Yeah. We always travel down to the Mediterranean or other places to get some warm water. So it's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of testing materials. It's a lot of physical training, and it's just very complex, but it takes time. It takes lots of time. When I was doing this, you could educate yourself, or you could have a job and doing the sailing half time, maybe. Most of the time. I mean, the year before the Olympics, you had to do just sailing. But today, as the sports developed, today if I compare what we did and how it looks today, you can't do anything else. Yeah. It's so difficult. It has the competition is so much. It's so much bigger today. But so when I quit with that, it was a lot of struggle finding the finance and doing all that. And so when I quit sailing, I came right in. I started working with sales and marketing, and I came into ad agencies, stuff like that. So. But what I found with that, then I was working as a consultant, and I had a problem with that because being a consultant, for me, in those years, when people had problems, they came to you and you helped them to solve some problems, and you came up with some kind of solution. And then when everyone was happy and they went out and trying the solution on the market, and then you were off, Yeah. And I didn't like that. So because I want to take part of everything from A to Z, I guess. And that's what I found pretty soon as I came into the exhibition industry. And that was in the beginning of the 90s. And I've stayed there now for 30 years. And for me, it's a great business because you start, it's projects, and you start with nothing, and you have to, you find some needs and dreams and desires out there, and you bring together. You're a matchmaker. Using the exhibition as a platform for people to meet. and doing business, and that's really, it's good fun.
Yeah. Half a year back, we discussed a lot when we discussed sports. It's like the mindset and how important the mindset is inside of sports. What did you learn from a mindset perspective from your sailing career now in running your own business as an entrepreneur?
Took me a while when I quit the sailing and started, working, because today I think that there aren't those boundaries like that. But before it was like you were a sport guy, and working was something completely different. Today I think the world is looking different, so those things grows into each other. But at that time, you did something and you start something new. And I have really difficulties to do some. I didn't really thought it was that funny to work in the beginning. It wasn't that fun, so I struggled with that. When I do today, when I'm working, doing my exhibitions and having these visions or mental pictures, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as doing an Olympic campaign. It's exactly the same, and that's so. I'm really lucky that I came into this business doing exhibition and how that works and how you pull that together. A lot of pieces that you bring together to the exhibition or the regatta or whatever. It's campaigns and so it's exactly the same. I've been doing this my whole life, preparing for a regatta or preparing for a championship or it's like it's exactly the same. Preparing for an exhibition.
So your exhibition today is kind of your championship from the past, and you're always focusing into it. Yeah. That's cool.
It's the same.
So you're as far as I know, at least, you're one of the market leaders in your business, in the exhibition business, and couple of weeks or months ago, you launched as well a digital perspective of that, where you help the industry to get to the next level. And all of these things, and I would love to dig into that a little later, but all of these things are like that's the surface looks always amazing, and your business is really looking super good. What nobody always hears from the entrepreneurs behind that is like, what are the mistakes? What can other people learn from your mistakes? Do you have any mistake you says like, shit, I would love to not have done from the last 30 years, which you would like to share?
You're talking the online stuff or
no, in general.
No, I can't say that. I've only had a really good time working in this industry, and it really works well for me working in projects in the next exhibition, etc. And doing exhibitions it's like in the music industry, you need to have a hit, if you don't, you're never better than your last exhibition. So forget about track record, forget about that, because you need to over deliver all the time. If you don't do that, there's no need for you. So you have to surprise the market and over deliver, and to over deliver, you always have to be on the edge, on craziness, I guess. So I've been thinking about it, because I normally wake up really early in the morning and I jump out of bed and it's a combination of feelings of feelings about not fail, succeed. It's a lot of stuff, and it sometimes you jump out of bed, of being scared of failure.
Yeah.
Sometimes you jump out of bed feeling so happy of I'm close to the success. So I don't know. I'm not that. It's just you really need to try to find all the good pieces, and you need to love what you're doing. And what that comes from, I don't know exactly, but it's a mixture of not failure, it's finding a success, being competitive. It's I don't know where it comes from, but the drive. You must love what you're doing to find the drive. But anyway, for me, because some people say that they are really competitive, and some people are competitive in everything.
Yeah.
I'm really competitive in the things I like. In things I don't like, I have not the energy to. I don't bother at all.
Yeah.
I'm totally off. I don't care. But I have friends that they can't stand being beaten by their kids. In football when they are 5 years old. I don't get that.
Yeah, it's a different competitive nature.
Yeah. So now you need to find something that you like to do and love to do. But of course there have been during these 30 years in the exhibition industry, of course there have been failures, I guess, but I guess because I maybe I don't think I try to forget them, but because normally I try to figure out what happened and so on, but I can't really. I guess I don't remember them.
Yeah. That's all fine.
Yeah.
So, from your perspective, I mean, you have been working in large corporations before you jumped into your own business as well after sailing and so on. So I have quite some listeners who are either they're still in a large corporation or in a corporation in a like 9-to-5 job perspective, and I have some who just started their own business coming out of that world. What are tips and tricks you could give them, or things you learned early on? For them to either not do the same mistake or doing the mistake to learn.
Jump as soon as you can. Start your own business as soon as possible.
What is the reason for that?
It's the freedom. The feeling of freedom and the have it all, have the responsibility. You decide in everything. I mean, I like to work in teams, and I could see that, but today we are only 2 persons in my company, and we started this as kind of a retirement project. But I mean, being only 2 persons, we're still. I mean, we work together with our market. So if you, it's not our organization that it's important, because I remember working in the bigger companies. They had a lot of benefits, of course, and it was interesting. You have international contacts, you traveled, and you had a lot of meetings, and that was exciting. But it's much more exciting today to steer it all yourself. Decide, instantly where to go, how to do it, and why, and connect with and cooperate with your market, with exhibitors, with the visitors, and partners. So, but I know I really find it so nice to do it myself.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Same on my side. I can't imagine jumping back into a large corporation right now.
No.
And most probably not the foreseeable future. But you're having through 3 sons. They're all almost about out of the university or already in jobs. What? How do you talk to them when it comes to entrepreneurship?
I don't know if I'm the best father. No, but me and my wife, we kind of try to encourage them in what they want to do. And I would say that my 3 sons they're very different in as persons, but we have always tried to back them in and support them in what they want to do. Like the oldest one, he did a lot of sailing, and then that's and he moved away from home quite early to be able to do that, and now he's established in Gothenburg since he was 16 years old. My middle son Johan, he's a wizard in graphical designs and animations and stuff. Yeah. And we supported him very much. He didn't have that sport as when Henrik, the oldest one, when he was young, we put a lot of effort into his sailing and that. Johan we tried to support with, so he could have computers and things like this, and he started filmmaking when he was like, he used my phone to make films, and he was directing with all his friends making films. But we supported them, and Axel now, the youngest, he's still at home, but at the university, and we're supporting him in what he does. But I guess they all, it's the same as I've said before. I guess the important thing is that they find what they like to do. And then they should go that path, go that way, because and don't look around. There's a mix of things that you need to find out by yourself, and I mean, if you go the path of going the same schools, doing the same jobs, etc., nothing really happens. So, but if you do this different stuff, that's where I think it's much more fun, and it makes you more competitive and more interesting, and you get a broader platform. So I guess that I'm not able to give them if there is something I would say that to them is start your own company as soon as possible, and get going. I know there is you being employed. Of course, I was employed until I was 50 years old, and during those years it was a lot of education, and so on. But still, I mean, for me, it's the funniest thing has been the last couple of years doing it all by myself in a smaller perspective. But I'm steer my time. I decide what to do with my time.
it's also an interesting perspective, because a lot of people say, yeah, you need to start your own business when you're young and when you blah, 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 blah. But what you just said, you started your own business when you have been 50 plus, which is also not always happening. But it's like, how did that happen? That you decided after 50 years, like, now I will do my own business?
What happened was that in my industry, I had to travel a lot during the years, because if I look at my marketplace here, Sweden and the Nordic countries, there are some places like Stockholm was a center here. So I spent so much time traveling to Stockholm. And the last couple of years, I was stationed in Stockholm. I worked out of Stockholm. So, I spent at least 3 days a week in Stockholm. And I was bored of that. I got bored of it. And even if my kids, 2 of them had moved from home, and they were all, they were older. But I didn't like to stay in a hotel and being away from my wife and my dog, and I live where I want to live, and I like it here. I like the community around me. I like my neighbors, believe it or not. I like it here. So why should I? So the challenges I got from the job, being in Stockholm, wasn't enough, because I thought, Peter, you're 50 now, and you live in Malmö, and you like it there, so you should spend your time there. So that's what made me actually starting the company, and also that I saw some windows on the market, and I say that in this niche, in this industry, I could do a better job. So and then could I live where I want to live, and could I make out a living out of it? So let's go.
That's cool. So it's also good inspiration for others who are still thinking, oh no, I'm too old for that to start. So you're never too old from that perspective.
I guess what we're doing now with this company is we have high targets in what we want to accomplish in the industry, and the value to our customers and our partners, and the footprint on the market. But we have no ambition building a huge company. We want to build and create huge value to the ones that we are serving, but we don't want to serve everyone. We are a niche company, and we want it to stay that way. And I guess if especially like times now, like when the pandemic, the whole exhibition industry, the big venues, I guess it's all over the world, but the big venues in Sweden, like in Malmö, Gothenburg, Stockholm, so on, they have severe problems, and they are cutting all their staff, because we are not allowed, due to restrictions, to run our business. And when it all starts over again, the big ones will have problems producing exhibitions. So it's a really huge opportunity to get in there and build something to offer them. But and in the normal way, then you employ staff. You could do things differently, and it's interesting for us to do something with start some new projects. But I don't want this company to grow with more employees. But you could do it new ways. But maybe if I was 30 years old, I would see it differently.
But I like that because I'm thinking the same way. I'm not 50 yet, getting 40 next week. That's already old from my perspective. Sorry. But it's for me, I'm doing it in the same way. So I don't want to have a couple of thousand people working with me in my company, because there's like, it slows you down again in all your decision possibilities and what you want to do. So I'm thinking in this exact same way, though that I'm younger and I could still build like a huge corporation with a lot of employees. But for me, it's more, I want to stay agile. I want to stay flexible and doing things. And that's way easier if you don't have employees straight away. That doesn't mean that I will not have employees, but it's more, it's for me right now, it's the best setup. But when we go back into, like, you have a company that's building exhibitions, that's operating that. So you mentioned already that the pandemic is quite hard in the total industry. So what made you to jump over to think about like the digital perspective and building up this new platform which you have and offer to others as well?
The pandemic hit us in the beginning of March. And at that time, we were supposed to run an exhibition in September. We only do one large exhibition every year. And it was supposed to be in September. And it was almost fully booked, or you never fully book an exhibition. You always find some new angle, some new place. You could sell the parking lot, you never.
If you're a good salesperson,
yeah, you could sell everything. But anyway, it was budget-wise, it was fully booked, and so we were scared. What's happening now? But we kind of decided that this will go over, and we will be able to run our exhibition in September. I mean, it's still a lot of months there, and the summer is coming, and the weather is better, and the virus is going to get away. But I mean, nothing really happened, and lots of things happened. It got worse. So we had a plan that in July, we need to take a decision in July on how to continue with this. But we saw that in May that it won't be possible to run the exhibition this year. And we also had to take in consideration what is the competition doing. So it was, I mean, the decision base was the pandemic. It was also what is competitors doing, et cetera, et cetera. Because, I mean, running an exhibition, you need to have a space, you need to have a time slot, blah, blah, blah. So we decided that we have to move the exhibition for until almost a year. And the first week it was stressful until the pandemic came. We made this decision. That was a stressful time because we are depending on one product. The whole our company is depending on one product. So the first week was really nice, to make the decision, go out on the market saying we're moving the exhibition, and everyone thought that was great. But after a week, we kind of, after that first, sense of being calm about the decision, I decided that, we can't just goof around now, just, relaxing.
Go swimming.
Yeah, go swimming. Yeah, we can't do that because what we will come back to is something totally different.
Yeah.
So we decided we need to invest in new thinking. And me and my colleague, we have been in this industry for so long time. And one of the things that you learn when you do something for a long, long time, you start to take shortcuts everywhere.
Yeah.
So you kind of, now we have done that. So you and also being just two persons I would say that my colleague is probably doing what normally takes 3, 4, maybe 5 persons to do. We do it in 2 persons, and so we have been experts in doing shortcuts, I guess. Still delivering a good product. So, but we had to invest. We had to really look. So we have been working hard from I would say the summer 2020 until now. We have been working hard to invest in to try to develop our company and the product. So because that was the right decision, because I can see that on my direct competitors. I haven't seen that they have done nothing really, but we have really tried to invest. It's difficult economic times for everyone, but still, what comes up now when it's open up again, when that will be, it's completely different.
Yeah, but that means, if I understand you right, like you took a decision to use your knowledge you have, the expertise you have in the physical industry part of where you are mastering already the last years, and took the knowledge into a digital space, which is now an additional product you offer to the market, and like all your competitors haven't done any step in that direction. So you're the only one in the whole market who is offering something digital, where in year 2020, where there's basically no exhibition happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's something where you and Hans-Erik, your partner, where you're very, very unique as well in the decision fastness, like in the speed of you taking the decision. You haven't mentioned that, but I happen to know that it's like when you took the decision to move the exhibition from 2020 to 2021, the September exhibition, you have been the first one in the whole market to deciding that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And I think, how did you take that decision? It's like, what made you to be the first one taking that decision, but still being a fairly small company?
We were challenged with people around us, and so the solution came up that we should offer something. The physical show. We had to look back to see what are we doing. Actually, and we are matchmakers in this industry, and now, now when we can't meet physically, we decided we need to do something digitally. So digitally, but most of the stuff we had seen wasn't good. We haven't seen any good stuff on the market digitally, because what people often, or the exhibitions industry have often tried to, in the digital space, do try to get the real world into the digital world. But the first time I heard about that was Sun Microsystems. They wanted to do a digital exhibition, 1997, I think, and they called me and said, "Peter, you know this, you know exhibitions, and now we're going to make a digital exhibition. Could you help us? How do you think the entrance to the exhibition hall will look?" I said, "The entrance? What are you doing here?" And they wanted to walk in aisles, and a lot of the digital solutions that's on the market is trying to make a bad copy of the real world. So but every media has its own advantages. So it took us a while we wanted to have a close connection between the physical exhibition and the digital. So actually we have a floor plan that is digital. So I mean, when you look at our digital version of the exhibition, it's the same as the physical one. I mean, it's the aisles and everything, but the exhibitors' stands are actually information containers. So it's containers of information where you can see pictures, you can see films, you can have all information on them, you can have all their social media stuff, you know, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, YouTube channels, and also you have personalized action bottoms, so that they really could tailor made they have a personal information container, and they designed that themselves. That's also a thing that, I mean, being two persons, it's when we do the exhibitions, we set up the physical or the digital. We build a framework, but I'm not running each exhibitor's exhibition stand. Yeah. They do it themselves, and it's the same in the digital world here. They fill their stand. They do what they want in the digital stand, but I have the framework. But there are a lot of values to do the digital version of the exhibition, because if you don't do anything, you back, you know. We see a great future on the digital version and in the combination with the physical show.
Yeah.
And we see it as a revenue, a new revenue stream for us.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't happen, it happens because we get revenue from it right now. But it's small in comparison to the physical exhibition. It's growing and it has potential. But even if we didn't get the revenue streams from it, it's still a service to the market to connect buyers and sellers, and we are doing something, and we get a lot of credit from the market of doing something, and we have something to talk about, and we have something. I mean, the whole fall has been really inspiring and motivational. It's been a great motivation to try to develop this service. So there's a lot of values in this.
And what's quite interesting, you mentioned it, like you're matchmaking, and matchmaking doesn't matter if it's physical or digital. So it works in both worlds. It's more that, at least as far as I know and I've seen as well, like you do this in a personal way. So even that it is a digital medium, it's like still a personal way of doing it. And that's most probably resonating with the market as well, how you coordinate the matchmaking.
Yeah. What have been a challenge though, is that because to make this digital version of the exhibition, it has some phases of activation. First, you have to activate the exhibitors to fill the exhibition with content, and then after that, you have to activate the visitors to see the need of going in. I mean, actually, what we're building is a platform or as a platform for the industry. But it took some hard work to get the exhibitors to get in and see the advantages.
Yeah.
But doesn't that always happen? I mean, you start with an idea and you think about it for a long, long time. You find the tools, you see the solution, you work and work and work and work. And after, a while, you see, this is brilliant. And you try it with some people and they also think it's brilliant. But then when you're launching it to the market, and not everyone, then I mean, you have maybe have had 6 months of preparation. And then you kind of believe that everyone will be really happy with this and everyone will see the advantages. So
on day one.
But you never learn, I guess. So that has been a struggle. But I mean, the first 2 weeks, we had 16,000 visitors to the digital exhibition. And
maybe in comparison, how many visitors do you have on a physical exhibition?
Around 8,000 to 10,000.
Yeah, so that's double.
Yeah,
in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but then it's always difficult with this to compare the digital and the physical.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the brilliant thing with the physical exhibition is that, or both brilliant and the disadvantage is that the people that goes there, they have to invest in time and money to travel to go there, etc., etc. And maybe on the digital scene, it's you don't see it that clear. It doesn't take that lot of investment to check the floor plan out.
Yeah.
But still, it's a channel. It's a new channel, and it's our channel. It's Entrepreneur Live.
Yeah.
We have the physical and we have the digital, and all of a sudden, we are not only 3 days anymore. We're 365 days. So these will melt together as a unit. So the digital drives the physical, and the physical drives the digital. And it will develop. It looks like this today. Tomorrow it looks differently.
Yeah.
So we find out.
I really love that example where you do this as an established business. You grow into a different place on top of your strengths you have. That's basically true innovation, where you apply different ways of thinking into your own business, and you do this masterly. It's really, really cool to see from the sidelines. It's awesome. So slowly getting towards an end. Where will you be in a year from now? So you launched this new platform. What's happening until December 2021 for you, your business, your personal life?
Hopefully, restrictions the pandemic will hopefully with the vaccine and other things, we learn more about the virus, etc. The medical system are doing a better job, I guess, with this, and so I guess that I hope we think that we will be able to run these 2 exhibitions this year that we are planning. If not, for sure we will run the fall exhibition, but probably both of them, the spring and the fall, and we will be the first exhibitions in this industry on our marketplace, which is Sweden, and everyone really wants to meet again. So I guess that you have to work really hard, but all the exhibitors and the visitors and everyone, all the partners, we all want to meet. And doing what we're doing now with the digital and the physical, I think that we have a great opportunity actually to take market shares.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, I don't see that the competitors are doing anything really but waiting. And waiting, it won't work. So I think that we will be stronger after this than we were if you compare the competition. And that makes great opportunity to develop and go to other markets, etc. I won't go to details on that, but still, our ambition the whole time with the company and the product is to be in all the big major cities in Sweden, and that's Malmö, Gothenburg, and Stockholm. And I think that the pandemic will speed that up for us, really. So I think there will be big boom for us the next couple of years.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see that.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Thank you very much for being with me and spending your time. Where can people find you? How can people reach out to you?
They could visit our webpage. That's the best place, I guess, and that's entreprenadlive.se.
Yeah. Cool.
Entreprenad is the Swedish name for construction.
Yeah.
Entreprenadlive.se.
Cool. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for being on the show, and looking forward to be part of your journey and seeing what's happening going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jens. Nice talking to you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take me to another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical, magical land, magical, magical land. To another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical.